Hello, Stoney fam. Welcome back to another episode. Sorry, it's been quite a bit since I've hopped on. I've had a lot of stuff going on in my life, quite a lot of good things, some bad stuff. I mean, life is kind of like that anyway. We get a balance of the good and the bad, sometimes more than the other. But I'm feeling pretty good now. I want to talk about some things with you guys that are very interesting to me and possibly interesting to you. So if you got some cannabis in front of you, however you'd like to consume that, I suggest consuming it because we're also going to be talking about a lot of facts regarding this magical plant. So I will say, sorry guys, I did already sesh before hopping on and I packed up everything already away. And I'm too lazy to go get it at the moment. I'm feeling pretty lit at the moment. So I'm seshing with you guys even though you're not hearing me seshing with you guys like normally. So anyway, when I first started learning about cannabis, my first basic knowledge was that, okay, this plant, once you smoke it, however you consume it, you smoke it, you're going to get, I'm sorry, not however you consume it. When you consume it this way and you smoke it, you get this psychoactive effect. You get high. I never really classified it as psychoactive or use any like terms at that point. I really didn't understand that much about it other than it gets me high. It makes me feel good. And I would get confused why sometimes some plants didn't make me feel that good. I've learned over time why that is. And it's because of a lot of different factors. It could be the terpenes. It has a lot to do with that. And it has a lot to do with all the other cannabinoids that are in the plant. And I also learned from taking edibles when I first started taking those that it affected me a lot differently than consuming flower would do that. So at first, for me, like any edible that I had tried was always homemade. I hadn't tried anything from a dispensary yet when I was first getting into cannabis. I remember making these really, really delicious brownies. To me, by saying delicious, I mean they didn't taste the greatest, but they were the best texture, like how I love to eat brownies. I keep saying consume. To eat brownies, but they tasted, you could tell that there was weed. You could fully taste the weed in it. And they were super, super strong. I want to say, if I remember correctly, there was like 25 or so grams in it. I can't remember. Actually, no, I think it was like 28. It was a weird number. Quite a lot of cannabis, and we were very stoned. I remember also trying tinctures for the first time, and that was a very different effect for me as well than it has been from trying professionally made products, like from a dispensary, versus at home, homemade stuff. Now, going backwards, talking about, or forwards rather, I guess, talking about Canna-Facts, CB1 receptors. So if you know about CB1 receptors, that is something that controls the nervous system, and that is primarily located in the brain. We also have CB2 receptors that are located in your body. It controls the immune system. So those two, when you're smoking flower, that's going to really be affecting your CB1 and then your CB2 receptors. So when you think of it that way, it's like, yeah, you're getting stoned, but there's also like a scientific background to that and how that's happening. How is that affecting your body? It's quite interesting. And then, if you've combined the THC, CBD, CBN, CBG all together, you're going to get that full spectrum dynamic, that full spectrum effect. And that can be a very beneficial effect for mostly medicinally. It can also be used for fun, but it is really strictly, a lot of people use it for a lot of pain and for like pain management and stuff like that, severe pain management and stuff like that. And then when you break it down and talk about like consumption methods, there's so many different ways of consuming cannabis. There's, there's topicals, and that's like when marijuana is absorbed through the skin. So examples of that would be like cream, balm, lotion, topical. It's, that's typically, though, not going to produce that much psychoactive effects, if any at all. It's more so just meant to be a medicinal benefit and help with the body pains. There's also sublingual ways of consuming. Examples for that would be sprays, slips, oral solutions, tinctures. And the onset for that, so as soon as that would be kicking in probably, is around 15 minutes to an hour. So that varies for everybody. So that can be different. That's why it has the two different time frames, because it could be a different frame for anybody, but those are like the main two that people usually experience it. And then the duration, how long it will last, would be usually about 4 to 6 hours. So when you're consuming it that way, that's how long it would usually take. When you orally consume it, a little bit different. Examples for that, obviously, it's anything that you're going to be swallowing and digesting, but examples for that would be like cookies, brownies, pretty much gummies, stuff that's like food that you're going to be consuming, something like that, swallowing and digesting. It doesn't have to be necessarily food. On set would be about 30 to 120 minutes, and the duration could be about 3 to 8 hours. So a bit different, and it's going to feel a lot different. Same with the topicals. They're all different methods, and it's the same plant but broken down into different ways to consume it and to get a very different effect from it. And that always, to me, it felt like it was almost close to like magic, because it's like how on earth does this one plant do all of these different things, help with all of these things? We're built with an endocannabinoid system already in our body, made to produce, to help produce these things, like to break it down and to give us these benefits, the psychoactive and the, by the way, I will say, and I've said it in all my podcasts, if you just started listening today, I am not like a scientist. I'm not somebody that I'm highly educated, but I'm not very, my wording sometimes is not the best. When I'm stoned on the strain that I'm using right now, it kind of does make me have a little bit of a fog when I'm speaking, but it does make me feel very relaxed. It does make me want to continue speaking. It makes me do feel bubbly, but it also does make me have like a little bit of a spaciness in it sometimes. So bear with me, guys. I also know that I don't know everything. So if there's something that I'm incorrect on, please correct me. I love to learn new things all the time. So anyway, back to what I was talking about. It's just crazy to me. I love how magical this plant is and how you can just consume it in all these different ways, and it does all these magical different things. And I will say magical because it kind of is. I remember reading about the story about this kid that was having a horrible time with they had this disease where their skin was very, very hard, and they could not really move their muscles with their skin. And after using this topical for quite a bit, they were able to actually open and close their eyelids and actually have some mobility in their fingertips and stuff like that in their fingers. And they were not able to do that without it. So to me, it's very, heartwarming. On top of my mother just got back into, I mean, she smoked cannabis when she was younger, so she didn't use it at all and understand it for the medicinal benefits. Now she's consuming edibles in the right dosage and stuff for her that works best. And she's been seizure-free for quite a bit, and she's an epileptic. So that's one of the main reasons I've got into the industry and into learning more about cannabis and getting into it myself, because it's helped me and people in my life that I love and all that other stuff. So I'm hoping one day that everybody can get all together and we can all just have one great big smoke sesh and everyone can just chill. I mean, it doesn't have to be smoking. Everyone consumes differently, but you know what I mean. The thought is there. Anyway, guys, I had a wonderful conversation with someone that I'm super excited to be sharing with you guys soon. I have a lot of exciting news that I would love to talk about, but it's not going to be shared in this podcast. I fully plan to talk about it in the next one. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Happy Medicated Monday, and we'll be sessioning and talking again soon. Cheers, guys.